welcome to the Free Play Arcade Podcast. We are live at Texas Pinball Festival. I am being joined to my right, probably your left, by Austin, formerly of the, what did we do, a trivia contest, right?
Yes. Well, that was the last podcast I was on. Yep.
Yeah. I tried to sneak you in for the Let's All Talk About How Boring Stern Is podcast, but we can work that in today. And also, Free Play Hall of Famer, Pinball Monday champion, and first-time podcaster with us, Ethan.
Hello. I sound so important with those titles.
You
in front
are
of my
so
name.
important, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, happy to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm honored to be on this podcast. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm honored to be on the podcast, and now our producer off screen tells us we only need 30 minutes, but I actually find it much more relaxing to have these headphones on and not hear the madness that is going on behind us.
Yeah.
So this might be a 17-hour podcast. Buckle up, folks.
It's part one.
So Texas Pinball Festival. What is Texas Pinball Festival? Let's start with Ethan because it's his first time.
Yes.
And what do you think of Texas Pinball Festival?
Oh man, that's to try to boil down Texas Pinball Festival into just like one sentence is, I would say, impossible. Like we're surrounded by pinball games of practically every era. You have
literally every era.
Literally every era. You have the electromechanicals of the 60s and 70s. You have the solid states of the late 70s, early 80s. You have, well-known pinball machines from the 80s and 90s, all the way up to literally the newest release that Stern has in the Munsters.
Yeah.
Just everywhere on this convention floor. And
yeah,
whenever
I'm telling people about TPF and should they go, it is every pinball that you ever remember, plus about 700 more. Actually, That's not true. It's probably, what are there, 400?
I think there were 450 at the last time I checked the registration, so it's probably between 450 470, I would imagine.
Wow.
Yep.
That's actually 470 out there. You know what? They've reorganized it just a little bit. They've moved the Wizards tournament. That's part of this. Every year during TPF, they have a Wizards tournament that is virtually impossible to be a part of. I cannot get into it. Yes. We had to bribe someone into it last year. It's happening now across the hallway from the main area, which means there's more room for pinball tables, more room for weird emulated arcade games.
Yes.
And more room for us to podcast, so that's nice.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But it still feels like chaos. There's just so many people.
Yes.
How many times have you been to TPF?
So this is actually only my second time, our second time, I should say, because Tracy's here with me as well. She's as big of an enthusiast as I am. So, for us, we've only been, I guess you'd say, playing again actively for the past, year and 8 months, not quite 2 years. And so it's something that, Free Play rekindled our interest in it, and now we're hooked.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. So this is your second, right?
Second time.
So I saw you last year,
Yep.
and basically the first time I saw you at TPF, you were saying, "Hey, I really like this machine. I got it."
Yes.
How many pins do you have now?
So now we have 4 pins.
Uh-huh.
So we picked up an Attack from Mars was our first. We had an Iron Maiden Ellie that was on order like everyone else. We had to wait our turn for that one. Then we got a Revenge from Mars, so we have Attack and Revenge. And then we also picked up a Creature from the Black Lagoon that has pretty nice restoration work done on it.
Yeah. I think you are all insane for owning pinball machines because it is so much to take care of.
It is.
I know what it means. It means that you have to be very technically aware and able to work on them yourself, and I know you're quite capable of doing it.
I find it very interesting, and you're right. I mean, it's a commitment if you're going to buy a pin or if you're going to buy an old arcade. If you're going to do it right, you've got to be able to learn some stuff. And even with my background being in engineering, I have to learn a lot because I never did any technical work on 70s or 80s electronics, so it's a complete new experience for me, and it's really fun to learn.
Yeah.
Yep.
How much time do you spend, say, a week working on pinball?
For me, it's really easy because being a home use owner, I mean my pins.
You might not even turn them on.
Yeah. Well, we probably turn them on. I'd say just about every day because you have to. Once you get into it, you've got to get your 15 minutes of pin a day, right?
Right.
As the saying goes. But even then...
You just play first ball?
Oh, yeah. I mean, exactly. I just play first ball. I just drain the rest. So they may get 500 plays a year. So, that's the saving grace. It's nothing compared to what free plays machines get. You put them in an environment where they're all on free play. You can do as much as you want. I mean, those machines are getting more in a busy day than we will put on ours in a year. So our maintenance is much less. I mean, the maintenance we perform yearly, I would say that you probably have to do it free play weekly, if I were to guess.
Yeah, if not more. Yeah. No, I know that it is a common occurrence that, issues happen with machines every day because it's pinball and things happen, especially with that amount of play. And then I just got a text today from a frustrated tech where someone had lifted up one of our machines because they decided something wasn't right and was going to work on it themselves. We have techs on staff all the time. They are quick to come out there and get things fixed and move on. Both of you guys have been to Pinball Monday and seen them active at work with us. So it's if you're ever at free play and you have an issue, put the card in the slot, tell the bar, they will be on it in a hurry. We have the best tech staff, and I'm going to miss them while I'm wandering around here.
Yes.
With 450 machines and probably the same amount of tech coverage as in the entire free play universe.
Yep.
So true.
What about you, Ethan? Do you own any?
No, I was about to chime in. That's one of the many things about owning a pinball machine that just, as much as I love it as a hobby, I don't think I could do it as like an actual owner because I don't know anything about like the inner workings of a pinball machine. Like I've seen the techs work on machines that break down or just need maintenance at free play, and I see the insides of them, and my mind just kind of melts a little bit.
Mine too.
I see all the mechanics, all the mechanisms inside. Even modern machines, there's so many things that can go wrong, and you can troubleshoot and have to figure out just on the fly to get fixed. I couldn't do that. I couldn't say, you know what, I'm gonna pay a few $1,000s. I'm gonna get this machine, and then all the maintenance is on me.
Right.
If I break something, well, I have to fix it. I can't do that.
Oh yeah, that or wait till the next TPF and hire one of the people wandering around here trying to sell that service.
Yes.
What do you feel about fixing the most modern machines? Are they harder to work on, easier to work on? Obviously, there's more parts available.
Yeah, there's certainly more parts available, and so for that reason, it makes a lot easier to replace some of those components that fail. I mean, you look at a game that's 20 years old, you're either getting remakes for plastics or this or that, and it really is dependent upon the game you talk about. You take a game like Creature from the Black Lagoon, for example, and you've got multi-tiered ramps that are both plastic and wire. And let me tell you, I don't care how strong your plastic is, it's eventually going to break. I would say,
especially firing a cannonball at it over and over.
Well, I read a gentleman who did, and I forget his name. He did a really good piece on the physics of pinball. So you've got a 1 16th inch steel ball moving it at 4 meters per second at anything that is on the playfield.
Yeah.
So you take that in terms of what you're dealing with, and it really doesn't matter whether you're talking about the electromechanical error, solid state, etc. You're going to have challenges. I think it's also a true statement that whether you're talking EM or solid state on up, every one of them has at least a mile of wire, some a mile and a half or more. And so, to Ethan's point, it is intimidating. If you've ever looked and underneath the playfield and yet you've never worked on one, it is so intimidating. I would just say that, honestly, once you do learn a little bit about it, you find that it's like troubleshooting, as I always say, troubleshooting a computer problem or troubleshooting a Mack truck. There's a method to it. So it's enjoyable once you get that first problem and you kind of nail it yourself. But, I do understand the intimidation factor without a doubt.
No, I have friends that are engineers, and I will leave it to them.
Yes.
And I will go to free play. I very much enjoy pinball. I think it's a magic trick.
Yes.
With all those components, and as insane as that concept is of a tiny cannonball being thrown at everything that's plastic over and over and over again, and all the ramps and the missions and everything else.
Yes.
It's a wonderment to me. This is probably my, I want to say 5th Texas Pinball Festival.
Nice.
I definitely came before free play was a thing. And I remember there was about 300 machines on the floor at that time. There was still no way you could possibly compete. But I didn't want to at the time.
Right.
I was just discovering all these old pinball tables that I had seen, one time here or there in the 90s or whatever. Mm-hmm. And here it is, and here's that and that. And there's actually a cool head-to-head joust right behind us. That's crazy.
That joust has been completely restored.
Yeah.
I know the person who did it. If I remember correctly, they have about 100 hours in restoration work, and this is somebody who does that all the time.
Right.
So you could just imagine what that would require for someone who doesn't do that all the time. That's an investment.
Yes, for sure.
Definitely.
But I went around played the whole time. And the first thing I did after I left Texas Pinball Festival is I went online and I just looked up where I could play these games, if I could play them anywhere.
Yes.
And at the time, there was no free play.
None.
So there was maybe 2 places in the city I could go at the time.
Yes. And how many do you have on? Not to interrupt. You've got, what, 26 on the floor in Arlington now?
I believe it's 24 in Arlington.
Okay.
I don't see one of the Arlingtons with us.
No, they're not.
There's 10 in Denton, and I believe there's more than 6. There's 9, I believe, in because there's 5 that you think of right in the back, all in a row.
Right.
There's 3 up in the front.
3 at the front,
and then there's
Baby Pack,
which is actually it was at the event, which we should talk about in just a sec. And then Revenge is there as well.
Revenge is there. Yep.
Yeah. So when everything is going, it's 10. There might be 9 on the floor at this particular moment. But yeah, it definitely kick-started me to get back into pinball. Not back into pinball, into pinball for the first time. I never really – it was always the thing that I couldn't afford when I was a kid because I put a quarter in and 3 balls go away, and that's it.
Right. No, I have to agree with you. I mean, the resurgence for Tracy and I, it's the same timeline. I mean, free play really rekindled both our interest in arcades again as well as pinball, and we never really had a deep experience in pinball just for that same reason. 1, availability, and just 2, it's too expensive to an investment at the time when you're 8 or 9 years old. Yeah, let me ask Ethan, when did you get into pinball? Because you're a Pinball Monday champion.
I'd say I probably got into pinball when free play opened, because I was born in '92, so by the time I was like up and around and all that, the arcades had pretty much died off more or less. So like I knew of pinball, like I had seen pinball machines before. I might have played a pinball machine once or twice before, but like it wasn't until I discovered free play that I really got into pinball. I discovered it, and it's like, man, this is a lot of fun to play. It's a lot of fun to play, to learn like the rule sets of, to just see, how different each machine can vary. And once went to Richardson the first time, I got hooked, and then Arlington opened about a year later.
Yeah, right about a year and a half, maybe.
Yeah, year and a half, and then
depends on if it's the beta test day you want to count or the actual open to the general public day.
Right. Yeah. So when Arlington opened, I live 30 minutes from this awesome arcade and free play. I just kept going. I kept going, and every day I went in, there would be new pinball machines going on. There'd be like new machines that I've never seen before. I would just play, and I would just once I played it once, it just hooked in. Like I just got hooked on it. I just wanted to keep playing more.
Well, let me ask you about you're a Hall of Famer at Free Play, which means you play everything. You're a Tuesday Night Fights champion. You're a pinball champion. Actually, you're both Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
But that means you play everything.
Yes.
So does pinball have a special place? Is it? Do you just love being a generalist? How does it work in relation to the rest of the arcade?
For me, pinball is a special thing for me because I'll be the first to say it. I'm not very good at fighting games.
You just won the championship. I have a picture of you in the phone with a 10-pound gold belt.
I will be the first to admit I was carried by my partner in that Tuesday Night Fights, and thank you, Brandon Cole, if you're watching this. Thank you for that. But I would say one of the great things about pinball is it's as much as it is about skill, it's also just as much about luck. Like there've been times where I've seen these absolutely great pinball plays like yourself or even Austin over there. They
that's
just
a mighty bluff, sir.
And they would have they would go up to a machine, and I'd be like, oh man, they're gonna blow this machine up. Not literally, but they're gonna rack up the high scores, and then like 10 seconds later they walk away, and I'm like, oh, I might actually have a chance. I might actually have a chance at this. And I think that's one of the great things about pinball is it's accessible, and it's everybody's on the same play field. Pardon the pun.
Yeah, I do equate it to because I'm talking to people who are playing all types of games: fighting games, maze games, ancient arcade games, modern games, all over the board. So it is learning to play pinball is like learning to play a fighting game, in that like there are definitely concepts and like techniques that you need to learn, but unlike fighting games, the fundamentals of pinball go completely across the board. Like, you learn you do a dead flip, a soft catch, you're going to be good for about 50 years of pinball.
Yep.
You don't need to know the table. Like, everything else is just rule nuance after that.
Yeah.
And then doing that helps to prevent the errant ball that makes you lose a game in 10 seconds, which does indeed happen to literally all of us. So, what have you guys noticed around any favorite machines you've seen so far?
You know, I haven't even played it yet, so let me just say that this is only by looks, and it's only from what I've seen him play online. But the new Munsters pin, specifically,
I haven't played it yet either.
That premium version, something about that black and white, I think that black and white art on it just looks beautiful. And if I remember correctly, I think they've got 12 of them here just in one booth.
That doesn't surprise me at all. I hear there's a lot of people buying them just to put them on the floor for a bit and get passes so that they can get into the private events. And different parts about TPF, upping the pinball total, and then they'll take them home afterwards and find a hefty repair bill.
Yes. Get a year's worth of playing in 2 days, right?
Yeah. No, I know they have a couple of the Munsters casts that are here.
Yes, they do.
I saw before the Open Gimli from Lord of the Rings signing autographs out front. That was surreal.
Yes.
You guys going to partake in any of that?
I might go through before.
It's not quite Comic-Con. It's not that level of celebrities wandering around.
I'm thinking about going to try my hand at qualifying for the Classic Sides tournament. But I mean, for me, I'm just here just to take it all in because this is my first year and there's just so much to look around, so much to try out. One of the most interesting things that I've saw just walking around the last couple hours, I kind of talked about how there's every era of pinball machine on this floor somewhere. If you look hard enough, you can find electromechanical. There you can find anything.
They have a history place. I can actually see it from here. There's a history thing that has the original pinball. What are they called? The wooden ones?
Wood rails.
Wood rails. No flippers. Just plunge and go.
Yeah. It's almost Plinko on a board.
Yeah.
And I think next to or nearby there are a couple of 1950s electromechanical pinball machines that are in really nice working order, considering that they're going on 6 years old, almost 60 years old. They're in incredible condition for how old they are. And I think it's awesome to see.
That's part of the beauty of this festival is all these private collectors, people putting in the hard work to bring the machines back to life.
Yes.
Keep them going. Man, that for, I don't know, 15 years, the private collectors held the torch for pinball and kept it alive.
Yes.
We really owe a lot to them, and this is sort of a celebration of them doing their thing. And there's some pinballs that I never would have guessed I would have had the opportunity to play. I mean, the iconic sounds, the plinking sounds, and all those sounds of pinball. I don't really hear them in modern. If I play Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a 2017 release,
something like that.
It sounds like the movie.
It's cool.
It's cool,
yep.
But it doesn't sound like when I was a little kid and someone said pinball, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Those machines with the ching 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 ching, all that, they're out there, and I can play them right now. It's quite the treat.
Yes.
I was wandering around, and I actually picked up another shirt. I want to shout out to outfit in Oklahoma, Double Danger Pinball. They make some really awesome clothing. I'm a big fan. That's why I'm partially obscuring my my new free play shirt.
I was gonna say that is a sweet looking shirt.
The rad shirt. That's cool.
Yes.
That is cool.
Yeah, we had to get this out before Fort Worth ruins the naming scheme.
Yes.
But for now, we have a totally rad shirt. Lots of arcade emulator weirdness happening here. That's
there
really
is.
Surprised about that.
Yeah, it, certainly.
The first time I came here, it was basically all pin.
Yep.
And now there's some arcades, but there's just a lot of just 60-1s and weird emulation.
You've got some purists. You've got some beautiful, restorations, just like we'd mentioned on the one Joust pin. You've got the same thing going on the arcade side, but you definitely have some people who are not playing that pure side of it.
No.
And it's
and not. The the pinballs all feel legit. Like
they are, except for, I don't know if you saw this. So we mentioned this really rare joust. You know, there's actually someone who took one of those really rare joust cabs and put a virtual inside of it, and it just look away.
Okay.
If you're a purist when you walk by, look away.
Right. There's lots of vendors out here selling mods and all kinds of cool stuff.
Yes.
I haven't looked too hard at them because we are purists at free play.
Yes.
And also, I have no interest in opening up.
I mean, where else? I mean, you talk about free play and you talk about, like, we talked about all the work that goes into it, and I think about some of the pins you've got out on the floor. A perfect example is the Tron LE on the floor at Arlington. You mentioned, right, and rightfully so, that a lot of collectors kind of kept the hobby going, and thankful to them. But then you also have to have that I guess, line in your body, so to speak, where you're not going to be selfish. You're willing to put out a Tron LE on a floor for public play. I mean, for those of you who don't know, you'd be lucky to pick up a Tron LE for in that condition for $12,500, and they'd go for that up to about $20,000. So to see one out on the floor that you can go play, I mean, that, and in the condition that it's in, it has mods on it that I've forgotten about. It's got a working version of Tron.
It's got Tron, a really, really baby Tron.
Right.
Not authentic CRT
it's
Tron.
Not, no.
It's like 2 inches tall on the playfield.
It's one of the,
just crazy.
One of the coolest modifications I've ever seen on a pinball machine.
Yep. And I'm not even a big Tron fan, and I seek that table out to play it because it's so cool.
Well, it's got that soundtrack that's just excellent.
It is, for sure.
It may not sound like 50s era pinball.
It doesn't give you the plink back and forth.
Nope.
But it's kind of that middle ground between the plinking back and forth, the original kind of EM sounds, and what is Guardians of the Galaxy, where you get so immersed in what is really cut from the movie.
The bass really kicks in that one, and I just it reminds me of the first time I played Mortal Kombat in an arcade, and I heard the booming bass of everything. Really, really special. Let's see. Have you guys stepped by the Wizards tournament at all? Because it is across the hall.
I have not. Now, I know it is just literally across the hall. I have not. Selfishly, I mean, Tracy and I will probably just be immersed in every game we can play, and that's how we'll spend our time here. How about you? Have you?
I'm thinking about trying to go over to the Classics tournament and try qualifying for that, but like Chris mentioned earlier, the actual Wizards tournament sold out. I think it
5 minutes,
probably
like
5 minutes, something like that. It sells out in like that.
Well, the Classics tournament I entered last year because it is open. It's open, and the way it works is you pay something like $20, and you get a certain number of fees, but you have to then register for your time in on the game. And I'm not kidding. Travis Gibbs, who also competes on Pinball Mondays with us, is in the house, and he's been here since 12:30, and he is. It's currently a little after 7. He's played 4 games in the Classics. He can't get a time in because there's so many players, and that's only going to get exponentially worse as the weekend goes on. So I have to tell you, I'm out. I want to compete. I enjoy Pinball Monday as much as anybody.
Right.
And that's just there's so many pins out here. I just want to go play them.
Yeah.
And then the Wizards tournament, I'd absolutely love to compete in the Wizards tournament.
Sure.
But I cannot commit the time to just clicking refresh and
find that small window in that 5 minutes before it sells out.
Yeah, that's
to register for it.
Yeah, that's why. So we can the links are live now as we record this, so I should be able to talk about it. We're having Free Plays Pinball Mania. That's coming up May 11th and 12th. That's going to be $5,000 in prizes, which is comparable to the prizes here at the TPF Wizards Festival, which sold out in an instant. So I fought really hard to give you guys, the people who play with us every month, an opportunity to get in the tournament before the masses get a hold of it, and I'm assuming it's going to sell out post-haste. Let's see I'll see if I can find the link for you guys.
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
It's all right. It is freeplayspringseries.com/pinball to register if it's not sold out. We're going to do 3 heats of 3 strikes. The top 12 throughout that day on that Saturday, the 11th, will move on the next day to the 12th. Everybody who qualifies for the second day is going to win prizes. Top 8 is going to win part of the $5,000 in cash, and then the other 4 will win some gift cards. And then that'll be a head-to-head, and we'll have, since we have the whole day to do the top 12, we'll be able to work out who gets what place, and and have third place and fifth place matches and whatnot, so that we get the prize distribution right. But are you guys playing in it?
We are, yeah. Tracy and I both have our tickets. How about you, Ethan? Do you have them?
I am planning to register. I got paid today, so I actually reminded me I should go ahead and register before, like you said, it probably will sell out because it was Wizards tournament this year. I think was open to 160 entrants. I think that's the number. It's roughly the number.
We're capped at about 120.
Yeah, 120 for this event, and I think as soon as the word gets out about how big this tournament's going to be and the prize pool and all that, you stick in the middle of one of the biggest pinball festivals in the country. Yeah, I think it's going to sell out pretty quickly.
And I've heard word is out, so that I've had people come up to me and ask me for the link, and so murmuring is definitely happening in the tournament venue itself about this other high dollar tournament that's in the area that is ripe for the sniping, as you would say, if you're a fighting game player.
Yes, and I think I saw it. Didn't you also post that on some of the like the local clubs that are really heavy on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, but secondarily. I definitely reached out to every single person who's competed at Free Play Pinball Monday.
Sure.
Just to make sure that I could at least get the link in front of them before it all just evaporated. And check it out now. Check out that website now. Maybe there's some tickets to be had. I hope so. I hope if you want to enter, you can. That's the thing. Pinball has had such a resurgence these days that you can't possibly get enough machines in front of people to play. It's always the most popular machine in Free Play. That's why we have 24 of them in Arlington. And frankly, there are days when it's just packed and there's barely a place to play there. You're pairing up and lets you and me and Austin all go and play together on one machine.
Definitely.
That's it.
Let's see. Actually, I think we're good. Do you guys have any thoughts about what you're doing in the next? Are you both in for the whole pool? Are you going to be here Saturday and Sunday?
I will be here Saturday, Sunday. I've got to fly out on Sunday for work, so we probably won't be able to stay until the closeout at 2:30. We'll probably leave Sunday morning, but I think Ethan mentioned he's about an hour or so away. We're a little over an hour away, approximately 60 miles. But we decided literally to stay just in a hotel across the street because we love that. I'll be in the swap meet tomorrow. I want to see if I can get some parts. I'm actually in the middle. I'm not in the middle. I'm collecting parts so that I can do a true restoration of a pin, and so that's part of my interest here too. We've already bought a couple things. I think I told you I'm stepping over. Like after we get finished here, I'm going to buy some plastics that are new old stock. So I'm doing a lot of things in addition to playing while I'm here. So I'm stoked about being here. But how about you, Ethan? Are you?
I will be here. I'll probably be here as soon as the doors open Saturday because there's so much to take in here. Like
yes.
I've probably seen like maybe a quarter of the machines
That's the big day on Saturday. Floor. That's the big day Saturday.
And there's so many things that like I've just kind of seen passing. It's like, man, I really need to check that out. And like I'll just get sidetracked. I'll see something else like, oh, I need to go take a look at that. I need to go play that because I can't state just how huge this place is. Like I've been to other conventions and I'm trying to think back to other conventions and then I think to myself, all right, fill all that place with pinball machines.
Yes.
And I feel like that's the best way of describing this place. Like your PAX South or your Dallas Comic-Con, think of a place that big and then fill it to the brim with pinball machines.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying the Munsters pinball, the
Me
new
too.
release.
Yep.
I haven't actually played it yet. They actually Suncoast Pinball right next to us has a demo out that they're trying. I saw someone play it. I may play a ball or two just to see how they're thinking about entering the pinball market.
Did you know the story on Haggis Pinball? Maybe just a
no. Do you?
It's an interesting one. So, two guys happen to be pin owners. They're from Australia. They both have similar backgrounds, I guess, Scottish in terms of ancestry. So they come up with the name of Haggis Pinball. They're doing just a pretty cool build. They bought a local box from someone, brought the innards from Australia with them. It's just a cool kind of grassroots effort type thing. So they're here as well. I for the same reason you said, you want to go see something interesting. I
want
thought
to see variants in pinball. I want to see
this is a variant.
old. But
this is a variant. This is going to be a newer style pinball, but in an older box because that's all they had to bring with them.
Okay.
They actually bought the box local, I think.
Kind of going off of talking about just variants in pinball, there's I believe Jersey Jack is here.
Yes.
And they have
actually they're probably doing their show right about now. So,
but like I'm trying to think what it Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
They came out with that recently, and I've seen photos of it, I've seen videos of it, but I want to say that it's here. If it is here, I would love to try that.
I would wager money that it's here. If
yes.
it's a pinball table, it's pretty much here.
I would love to see. I would love to see what Jersey Jack can do with not actual because they've done the other licensed game. They did Wizard of Oz, but
beautiful game. Woz is beautiful.
I love Wizard of Oz, but I know Stern did a Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it's like mid 2000s.
Yes,
correct. Yeah,
kind of just your generic Stern pinball machine from that era. But seeing what Jersey Jack has done and just seeing the photos and seeing it's like the size of Twilight Zone, it's like it's a wide body pinball machine, and seeing all these different things that they've done, and I'm so ready to see if it's on the floor. I want to get my hands on it. It looks amazing.
Did you read behind some of those design issues they were having? They wanted the mechanical wheel in the center. They had to change that in the center of the playfield on Pirates of the Caribbean.
No,
it was really cool. I mean, it's to your point, right? I think JJP is known for, some of the design stretches, if you will, right? Still modern, still, a lot of cool things they do in terms of motorization and whatnot on the playfield. But, I think they really kind of push the envelope within the constraints of what you can do on pinball.
Yeah, I cannot wait to play these different pinball machines. I will go and play every different one that I can possibly find. I know we're going to do a walkthrough here in a little bit, so
awesome.
You can check it out on our YouTube channel. What is the link to the YouTube channel? YouTube/FreePlayArcade, and we'll be doing a walkthrough of Texas Pinball Festival. You can try and get tickets. Hopefully, they're available right now at freeplayspringseries.com/pinball. That'll be for our Free Play Pinball Mania, May 11th through 12th. And with that, I was going
to say one more thing. I'm sure somewhere in this corner over here. Go ahead and hit the.
I think you can subscribe. Like it's usually up there.
Yes.
And sometimes it's down there.
Somewhere
wherever you're listening to or watching this, I promise you can subscribe. We're on that service, whether it's iTunes, YouTube, whatever. We're available on all of it because thankfully there are people who just like sit off camera under tables and fill out all those forms, so that we can be on those places. So that's really awesome of them. You just have to click subscribe and we can keep chattering into nothingness. But we're going to go enjoy that. What was it? It's not spooky. Jersey Jack. We're going to enjoy the Jersey Jack presentation.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
And you guys enjoy the walkthrough. I want to thank Ethan.
No problem.
And I want to thank Austin for
Thanks
joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I hope I have both of you guys back on the podcast at some time or another. Maybe we'll do the Free Play Pinball Mania wrap-up podcast.
Absolutely.
I'm always available.
All right, see you guys later. Thanks, Jaden Smith.
Take care.
Thank you.